welcome back to Retrospectreviews. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified as soon as I upload a new video every Friday. And don't forget to like this video if you like it. So in this episode, I'm going to take you on a tour of my game room and show you what's in my collection. And we're going to start right here.
Okay, so what we got here is my Yoshi and Mario I found, and on this shelf you'll see my collection of Commodore 64 games. I think there's the two at the end, Wheels of Fire, is Amiga games, and one Atari ST game, the Jane's Pond. Below that is some more Commodore 64 and Amiga games. I did have them in order of console or retro PC, but as my collection has grown, it has got a bit hard to keep them all together. I might have to reorganize that. Once again, a mixture of Amiga, Atari ST, Commodore 64 and PC games. There's one Tandy Coco 3 game there. Also got a VC4000 collection of games along there, which I'm hoping to do a video of. Some more PC games and one Leapfrog game, as you can see over there as a pouch I picked up for a couple of dollars of a collection of Leapfrog. Moving up the single CD that are there, the first 5 or 6 bottom row is of audio CDs, but the following after that is a heap of games that I've picked up, just no boxes. So there's a mixture of adventure games, strategy games, you can see Age of Empires there, Monopoly, and Star Trek Pinball, ranging from different eras from early 90s all the way up to the 2000s. Over here I have in this basket my collection of Xbox 360 games and my collection of Wii U games. I don't have a lot of Wii U games. As you can see, these are just ones I've picked up mostly from stores, a couple on eBay, and I did pick a couple up at recycling centres and at garage sales. So that's my collection of Wii U games. I've got a few Xbox 360 games that I've just picked up once again at garage sales and recycling centres. So moving down, on this shelf here I've just got a collection of different types of laptops that I've picked up over the years, ranging from an Acer, an IBM ThinkPad, and another Acer. Here I've got, this is where I keep my spare joysticks. At the front there, I'm not sure if that's a Call of Duty or Modern Warfare or something like that for the Xbox 360 there. So moving up to my main collection of games, so we'll move up to the very top. So up the top here we've got a couple of plushies, Mario, Gremlins, original Gremlins plushie. That barrel there is barrels of monkeys. Some utilities for the IBM and the Commodore 64, and some toys that I had as a kid. Moving down is our Maxis collection, starting with Spore, moving into the Sim Cities, and then the Sims. I've got, as you can see, Sim Chopper, Sim Ant, and then moving into my LucasArts and Sierra collection. On this shelf is my collection of Mega Drive and Master System games. A lot of these I've got in bundles, and so most of those Master System ones I got in bundles. I did find a few at a charity shop and bought a couple on eBay. Rampage there being one of my favourite retro games. Now on this shelf is a bit of a mixture again. There's a couple of PC games, a PS3 Grand Theft Auto 5 in a collector's box, followed by my collection of GameCubes. games. I only got a few of those. I'm hoping to get more. Now this is my wife's collection of the Sims. As you can see there, she's got most of the Sim 4s. She's slowly getting the Sim 3, and this is her, I think, mostly all the Sim 2 collection along here, which she has been collecting. So further down, my next shelf is cartridges again. This is the first one there, the Space Shuttle. That is a Commodore 64 cartridge that a friend of mine purchased for me back in the late 80s, followed by Atari, and going into my ColecoVision collection. After that is one Super Nintendo game there, one N64 game, Mission Impossible, followed by my NES collection. Now on this shelf is my Nintendo DS collection. Once again, most of these I picked up at garage sales or at there was a big charity shop, charity event where they just wanted things gone. Some of these I've purchased myself. In these two drawers, this is where I keep my loose Atari 2600 cartridges, and as you can see there, I've got Crossbow Debug, and there's a few loose Master System games that I picked up. Same on this one. This is mostly all Atari. This is all Atari 2600 cartridges in here, and this is one PSP game I picked up at a charity shop. Don't own a PSP, but I just thought I'd grab it just in case. Okay, so moving down to the next shelf. These are all PS1 games. Most of the covers on these are broken, so I just set them there. There's a few in wrong cases that I'm looking for. Now, once again, in these drawers, these drawers are just freezer drawers that you put in your fridge. So once again, these are Commodore 64 cartridges. There's a TS80 cartridge there. These are tape for the tape games for the Atari 2600. There's a few NDS games in cases there. There's another Super Nintendo game I got, 3 N64s, and some loose NES and other cartridges for retro games. So on this shelf, this is a mix again of Commodore, Amiga, PC games. Some of these I've had from brand new, like Carmageddon there, I bought that brand new. Some of these I've picked up. Cinemaware, LucasArts Archive I've had from since the beginning. In those folders, that's where I keep printed copies of Rainbow magazine from my TS80. Now in this bottom basket is where I keep some of my PS2 collection and some of my Xbox, original Xbox games. And this is just a flow on of PS2 games. There's a couple of PC games. Right, so back on top of this cupboard, some more toys that I had when I was a kid. These are the few that I've kept over the years. Followed by a Commodore 64 data cassette. There's a portable cassette player that I use from the TS80. Also a Wii drawer. That's my Atari 2600 8-bit, a Starbird collectible spaceship that was given to me when I was a kid. Followed by my Super Nintendo NES box and a couple of EB games when I bought my Nintendo Wii U and I got my Xbox 360, followed by a bread box, Commodore 64 box, and a ColecoVision. So here we've got my collection of Nintendo games. So up the top there, as you can see, is an original NES. I do have the box for this. So this NES came with 2 controllers, the box itself, and the light gun and all the cables in its original box that somebody threw out. My brother just happened to walk by and spotted it sitting on top of a garbage bin and grabbed it for me. The only thing that was missing out of that set was the Mario Duck Hunt cartridge. Followed on next to that is my GameCube. It has a slight nick in it, but other than that it works fine. Down below here is my Super Nintendo that I picked up for $17. The person who sold to me said it didn't work, but it turned out just to be the power brick. Followed on from there is my N64 with 2 controllers in the background there with I think that's, is it Beatlemania, I think it's called. It's a Volkswagen racing game. Okay, on this shelf is my Nintendo Wii and Nintendo Wii U. We've got two Wii's in this house, so that is the second one. The other one is still out in the lounge room hooked up to the TV. Also, you can see my Super Nintendo Mini there, still in box. And this is my this is for the Famicom clone. I just bought a joystick because I didn't have one for it. Once again, so up here is my Famicom clone. I'm sure it's, I think it's a, I don't know if it's original, I think it's a Super Famicom, that one. I've got Kong 2. So down on this shelf is my Atari XE with light gun, cartridge and joystick. Came with 3 games, along with I've got Atari 2600 Junior there with a couple of cartridges. I picked up the Atari XE here. It was pretty, I retro-brighted this. It was a real dark brown, a tobacco brown I suppose you could call that. I think the light gun was the only thing that out of the collection that hadn't gone brown. I did pick this up in a big box with a few other consoles for, believe it or not, $2. Long before retro collecting was even a thing. So yeah, somebody had threw out us, 20 years worth of consoles. So on this shelf here is my Xbox 360, which I've only recently got at Christmas last year, followed by my original Xbox. This is not the first Xbox I ever owned. Yeah, so down the bottom on this shelf is the ColecoVision, which I'm still waiting on the power supply for that and the controller. So this is the Intron Electronic VC4000. That's a German console. And here again is the ColecoVision, which I'm waiting on the other controller. So here we got my collection of Mega Drive, the original Mega Drive in the background there, and the Mega Drive 2. I'm not sure if that's a clone or a knockoff. Here is 2 of the Master Systems, the original Master System and the Master System 2. Once again, that was in the $2 box that I picked up with the Atari XE and Atari Junior. Okay, so down the bottom here we got an original Fatboy PS2 and a PS2 Thin, 2 iToy cameras and an original PS1 and some controllers in the background. I actually got the PS2 of my cousin. He's up, well past the PS2 stage. He's up to a PS4, I think. So down the bottom here, this is just a bit of wacky gadgets that I've picked up, wacky game controllers that I picked up. So this is a VTech kids game. It has a few cartridges in the background, which I'll show you in a minute. Mega Droid 2 joystick there. That Pac-Man is a portable Pac-Man that I got for Christmas when I was about 8 or 9. As you can see there's 2 NDSs. That pink NDS was given to me by my sister-in-law, and the bottom one there is a black NDS which I purchased at a garage sale a little while back now. So there's the Mega Droid 2. I did a video on Mega Droid 2. If you want to leave it, I'll leave a link for it at the end of this video. So here are the VTech games that I got with this system. So it's basically kids games where you this one you got to help Batman solve crimes or something like that. A lot of it's got like math problems to go with it. So not a bad little buy. I think I got that and 2 Wii games for $25. So I was happy with that. Huge joysticks, I guess, to help kids play. I might do a video on that down the track. Okay, so on the other side of the room here, I've got obviously some posters, and I've got another shelf here. Here are some odd ends and ends. So that ET I've had since I was 6, I think, since ET came out. There's some extra cartridges that I had, and just some brand new media products that I've been picking up. My Super Mario Amiibo, a couple of Nintendo cartridges there, Super Nintendo cartridges there, and the Star Trek and cards and that. And yeah, most of that stuff I've had for a long time. So on this shelf here, this is mainly all loose PC games or small box PC games. As you can see, there's I think 5 lots of the Mist, Crazy Frog Racer 2 I picked up, I don't know why. The movies, the Da Vinci Code and Riddle of the Sphinx, they're still in shrink wrap, never been opened. And just these are just, you know, I thought the covers looked interesting, or they weren't open. The Hong Kong Flight Simulator for Flight Simulator 10's never been open. So down on this shelf is where I keep computer books and electronic books. Literally, like the Commodore, how to program the Commodore 64. I've had them since the late 80s. There's manuals from the Amiga and Commodore 64. There's a manual for the Microsoft from the early 90s. And just, yeah, these are electronic books I had when I did my electrical engineering. So over here, this is my workspace, where I keep my workspace and other retro consoles. So here's this collection of my tools, and that monitor I use when I use my TS80 spare computer, which I'll show you in a bit. So there's some joysticks and my monitor. This is my small CRT, my video player for capturing video footage, and work our way down here. So we'll go over here first, and yeah, so a couple of floppy drives, and this is some floppy disks from my Commodore 64 and Amiga that I've had since a kid. So that computer there I use to video capture VHS stuff. There's my Amiga, and I also use that computer to power my to boot games up to my TS80, because I don't really have any discs for it. So I'll just pull here's my Amiga 500. Now this is my third Amiga I've had over my lifetime. My first one I gave to my brother years ago, which I had a huge collection for, which I regret now, because I wish I kept it now, but yeah, at the time I didn't think I had any use for it anymore. So, and then the second one I brought I lost. So this is a Gotek, which you plug into your Amiga and it acts like a floppy drive, and you can have hundreds of games on it. So under this cover here, my wife made me these dust covers, which I'm very grateful for, so thank you, dear. And here is my TS80 Coco 3. Now this is not my original Tandy Coco 3. I sold my original Tandy Coco 3 to buy my first Amiga 500. Once again, a regretful thing, you know, but being, 10, not even 10, I think I was 12 or 13 or 14, and the Amiga 500 was the thing to have at the time. So I sold my TS80. I had double floppy drives, I had everything. So I have that my TS80 plugged into that computer under there, where I use it to load up, and I can load games from the PC. Here is a little thermal printer I picked up for 99 cents. I haven't tried it yet, I haven't got a cable. Some more Amiga games that I've collected, and this is just the little odds and ends that I keep, like spare things, and some goo off and things to clean cartridges and whatnot. This is a small collection of joysticks I've got, the TRT that I use so I can play light gun games. Now under this dust cover, this is where I keep my original Commodore 64. Now this Commodore 64 was given to me by my grandparents, brand new, came in a movie pack, came with like Batman and all sorts of things. So with that I got the keyboard, power brick, and the floppy drive, which we'll probably see in a bit. But that's a SDE2 card reader that I purchased, which I'll leave a link to in the description, where you can boot, once again, games from there. So I don't have to really use my disk drive. I did have to. So this is my original disk drive that I got with the Commodore 64 that we just looked at then. And they're not infallible, and they do it does play up from time to time, and I have to keep cleaning the laser and whatnot, and the discs they fade, so that's where that SDIE2 card comes from. So this is the this big floppy drive that I've got here, I got this with the second Commodore 64 that I got second hand. My mum had a friend didn't want it anymore, so they sold. Got a heap of stuff with it. So the next thing, so these are more, once again, more Amiga floppy drives, floppy disks with different games on it. That's my second Commodore 64 just there. And also these are Commodore 64 floppy disks. Yeah, a lot of those I've had since the late 80s. So we look here. This is I think this is I'm not sure if this is the Commodore 64C. It's slightly different. So out here is this. If you're wondering where my Wii games were, these are all out in the lounge room. So there's my Wii games and PS3 games, and this is my PS3.
Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I had in my collection. If you did like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're the first one to know when I upload a video every Friday. Comment down below if there's something you want me to make a video that you would like to see. So that's it for me. Catch you next week. Bye for now.